said, well, wait 24 hours, see what happens. But you immediately get worried, and Bill was worried.
I've never had a reaction to a flu shot. You know, my arm just,
I get really tired
And that's it.
sometimes, but this is the first time I've had a fever.
yeah,
Maybe it was something else, I don't know, but it was sure short-lived.
it sure sounds like it
It was
was.
from Monday afternoon,
Yeah,
and by the next morning, the temperature was up.
and I think everybody's so much more stressed, so I think we tend to react a little differently,
Yep.
you know, to
Yeah.
a variety of things.
It's a crazy world we live in.
Yeah, this is nutty.
Well, it's that uncertainty, you know. Everybody's got an opinion. Nobody's sure.
That's right, nobody really knows.
You know, things are opening up and nobody wants to go. They keep, you know, everybody says, support this, support that, but, you know, no one has like, you know, I don't feel like sitting outside to eat. I see all the people sitting out there, but it's not fun, especially when it gets cold and it's windy.
We were supposed to go out to dinner Tuesday night, but it was so cold. We canceled, but also I didn't have the results. And that was my birthday. You know, here I'm sitting on my birthday. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
The only good thing was I got all these phone calls, which was really good. But what a weird birthday.
I had a gift certificate. Well, I still do. It was a, you know, I got it for Christmas, but you know, I'm not good with, you know, gift certificates, dinner ones, you know, or eating. So it's a place near the Union there, around the square there. But when the pandemic hit, maybe a month later, I said, geez, better use this before it's not good. Well, that place closed down completely, so it's taken over. I think it might have reopened now.
We were going to be outside, but it was freezing.
Yeah, yeah. Right after Labor Day, no matter what, the temperature just plummets. It's like, right, it gets you. We'll get a Indian summer in October. I guess we got to start. We got to start. I moved the clock over here so I can see the time. It used to be up there. Okay, we're here. Another day. Morning, everyone. 9:30, 9 a.m. Tai Chi morning class. It's actually streamed out, but we have a couple of supporters here. So here we are, starting out. First exercise. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, to the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Stretch, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Center, inhale, exhale. Hands up. Let's do it one more time. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Center, inhale, exhale. Okay, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, cross it. Hold your knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, hands in waist, neck, turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and stop. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, rotating down. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, turn. Stretch it out. switch, 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 switch again, straighten front knee, switch, 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 okay, Sana, okay, shake it out. Okay, deep breathing, inhale, so with those stretches, sometimes, up in here, you could feel when you switch from side to side that there's sometimes a conflict because the muscles don't let go right away. So you can feel a little, you can feel a little bit of a discomfort there because, so that's why a lot of people don't like the stretch because it's painful for people that really not used to it. So, okay, shoulder rolls. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and stop. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. And center. Palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, let's shift the weight a little and then work the balance. Okay, so once you find your center, this leg should come to here, and we go up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, shake it out. Hands swinging. Find your center line. And switch. Other side. Go. And center. Okay, next, going side to sides. Reach out. Okay, center. Switch. And center. Shake it out. Hands up, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk rilling. Stepping out, forward and back. Switch. Okay, open and close. Switch. Okay, center, circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower. Palms down. Extend. Okay, lift up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, part the horse's mane. Diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, cloud hands. Okay, next, palms down. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Okay, infinity sign. Okay, form the fist. And center. Palms together, strum the lute. Okay, center line, thumbs up. Alternate the shoulders. Switch. Okay, draw the bow. Okay, fan through the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, palms down, hands up. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, good. So let's go through a few of the, the footwork, and then we do the two sides, and we'll work the drills. So we start off squaring the feet. Okay, find our center. Separate the hands, turn. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrist, turn. Turn. Forward. Back. And forward. So this is just sort of dosing, a dose of the different postures and tying it to the feet. So this is where you can sort of build that integration where the body starts to move in conjunction with the feet and get used to feeling the position and then what it's like to transition while the hands are moving through space. Trying to sort of smooth everything out. Then we'll go back to neutral. Okay, and we can just turn. Now we turn this way, and then turn this way. We're at the brush knee point. So that's presetting the circles. Or you can turn, 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 brush knee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So everything is moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is one way, or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So we're turning in the direction that we're pivoting, and then when we switch feet, we end up here. So you see there's a lot of mechanisms in there that tie to the hands and the feet, so what it is timing, it's space, it's integration, it's upper lower. So when one part moves, all moves. So that's one of the sayings, but how do you get that to happen? Yeah. So it is a process, but the learning process is really the big challenge. But then all these little things that we've been doing all over the decades, and it's been decades for some of us. Why, does it take so long? Because we don't recognize always what has to happen. So once you recognize the transition, then it just becomes innate. If I do it this way, then I turn and I hold the hands. If I do it this way, I move through center. You can just make as many circles as you want, but you have to know that it gets to here. See? So it's something that we become aware of as a training, or maybe a drill. And then from the drill, you develop the consistency, and then your body will start to recognize, well, there's the circle we've been doing, there's the strum dilute position, which hand is forward, which hand is back, which hand is forward, and then it just happens. So that's interesting, when I talk about it, because, it just sounds like, well, that makes sense, it's logical to do it that way. But the thing is, the body doesn't catch up to what we're thinking, and doesn't catch up to what you're hearing. So that's why it does take a couple of classes to get that to happen.
What you were just doing,
Yeah.
is that part of one of the forms?
Yeah.
Because
You.
I'm not recognizing.
Yeah, because when we learn things, it gets compartmentized, and when you do things a certain way, you won't step out of the boundaries of that. So for instance, if I did, stork flap swings, and I moved to here, I'm already into my brush knee, right? So there's my brush knee, and if I didn't set up and I just stepped up, then here's my brush knee. So that's a brush knee. Now you can kind of see what's going on there. Say oblique brush knee. I turn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grasp the spell. So if I did it like that and we were learning it like that in the beginning, it'd be very hard to follow, wouldn't it? Because there's so many things going on. So doing a form has lots of variations of how you would execute. It could be continuous, it could be blocky, it depends on what your goals are during that phase of training. You know, all of it's important. The geometry of position, the breakdown of the movement, the phases, the timing, the sequential order of things that happen. So something like this is very sequential. This is consistently the same movement, but then it becomes a sequential thing because which hand moves first. Now I'm going to do it blocky for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So that's the robotics. That's how a robot moves. We're not robots. I mean, when you fill out those things, so the thing is, that's how we move on an angular basis, defining those spaces. But then movement is not natural like that. We don't really move like that. In fact, we just kind of go through the motions normally. But when you try to put some order to your movements, then it gets a little bit more complicated. But I think learning that way becomes more accurate and more precise. And then what goes on here, you build information, right? That information's in there shows you the variable or the diversity of those movements, how you can do them one way, all ending up in the same place. In the same place. So this is just cycling through the same movement. Now, are you turning your waist? Are you turning in two directions? Do we have upper and lower movements? Because when the hands, now I'm doing it fairly fast now because that's typically, when you get familiar with movement and you know the motion, you can speed it up and still have accuracy of movement. Because if it was a martial art, it has to have that accuracy, it has to have the ability to be quick and responsive as a reflex. So the reflex action is what you're training to do because you want movements at the subconscious and then reach a stage of reaction. You respond to the stimulus. What's the stimulus? It's like someone punches, you respond. Right? You deflect and you strike. You sit back and retreat. So those are the basic principles of how you would use the movement. You would avoid first. Something comes at you, you avoid. You move to the side. You step backwards. You retreat. But then to reach your target, you have to advance. To put power into the movement, you have to push. You have to create that direction of force. If I'm making a punch or creating an action, I have to create the action that leads to the punch. So that's functionality. So everything that we do is kind of building off of that, sort of to discover what's inside of what we're doing. So movements that we're doing in form camouflages all these strategies and techniques of how we should be moving. But that becomes principles. It becomes, pretty much like a science. There's a method to it. There's a process to developing it. But the human kind of develops kind of slow. I guess it has to do with gestation periods too. Like it takes 9 months for the baby to become, viable or become a human. But like with mice, it happens in weeks, and flies, it happens overnight. The life of a fly is like 3 days. So, because it takes us longer to do things, it just takes longer to learn it and to get good at it. It's just that process. Look how long it takes before parents let go of their kids, like in the animal world. As soon as you can walk and talk, well, they don't talk, but as soon as they can feed themselves, you're on your own. In the human world, you're never on your own. you know? Who thinks about it like that, right? Why would I be thinking like that? I just find it interesting that that's how it is. Why it takes so long for us to become, um, functional, viable as an adult. 18 years, imagine. I mean, that's the number. Who put that number in there? So it takes time to develop what we're doing. So when we're in the brush knee position, this is your fundamental movement. So if you didn't even do brush knee and you just made these circles, this is turning and it's compatible with the direction of movement. Do you see what I mean? I'm turning this way so my hand can go this way. So there's also movements that kind of go opposite. That's, instead of going in this direction, I might go, this is actually compatible, but I might be moving like this and then the hands actually putting pressure on the opposite side. Just like when I push forward, I have to settle in my stance to feel like I'm moving almost backwards. So when we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then when you settle into your stance, everything finalizes as one. See what I mean? We're doing it here, we're finalizing here. We're finalizing it in a stationary position. But once we move, we have to set up our legs and then finish here. So we sink the elbow, relax the knee. We sink into the stance to create a base with upper and lower body relationship. And then when we turn back in this direction and then we start to move, there's a relationship between what is the substantial hand and what is the empty hand. So that's as simple as that is. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not simple. The action is not simple. The basic geometry of position is fairly simple. It's a center line. It's this, and it's one of those, and our feet are doing this, and we already know all of these things. But we don't know it in the order. We don't know it in, So it is really, a different way of approach. So that's how, when you evolve, you start to discover. And you discover that the body should be moving like this. So let's go through the sequence, the paradigm form. So that was the tutorial of the day. All right, ready? Sorry. Fist under elbow. Okay, deep breathing. So, you want to run through the long form now? Just run through from beginning, because we don't get to do that a lot. But the thing is, it's a concept, and you just have to keep that, housed there as a method, and that, it's a one of the goals. It's not the only goal. So, Jade Lady Work Shadow, yeah. We do, yeah. Neutral is sort of your setup for the beginner posture. In fact, we can run through that as a drill. You want to do that as a drill? So using the same footwork, we could do cross-stepping like in the paradigm, or we can just turn like this. Go forward, back, center, and forward. And then when we turn, we can do one circle, get to the opposite side, go to horizontal, sit back, turn, and go forward. And then we sit back, we pass through neutral, and we get to the other side, and we reset the hands and feet, forward, back, 1, 2, 3. Now, when I sit back, I wind up by turning, and then I unwind my body, and then I find this side. Now we're in the vertical again. Then we go forward, back, turn, and then go forward. Now, when you do something like this, and then over time it just comes, easy because it's programmed into your body, then you can kind of pay attention to this lower hand, this middle hand, the upper hand, the press, the vertical, the position here, the turning of the hand, and the pushing from the back. Then we go back, and then we turn. Now this goes down. That's your lower hoop. Turning, 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 forward, back, turning, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, so you don't have to actually go to the corners. It can be a 180-degree turn because it's a relative position. It doesn't matter if I'm doing it there, or there. It's the same action because you're really using yourself as a reference point. So you can see that by doing something like that, then you can sort of integrate your hands better, see if they're going through the basic geometry of the positions, lower hoop, vertical, upper hoop, vertical, 45-degree vertical, back to center, and your pushes are these things aligning, and then that's how your body will start to pick up on it. See, your brain doesn't really know until there's somewhat of a consistency. So if it goes to a point over time consistently, then it starts to assume that it's correct. And then at the same time, once you reach that level of sort of accuracy of position, then you start to program that into your system on a sensory level. And then you begin to feel that that's what's correct. That's how it should feel. That's sort of a level of self-correcting. Your body will know. Just like when we stand, you can self-correct even down to the soles of your toes or your soles of your feet. When they're slightly misaligned or just a little wider than shoulder width or narrow, you can detect that because you've been standing in the shoulder width so much or so long that you know the difference based on a feeling. But that feeling, for newer people is not sort of dialed in. It doesn't know what that feeling is yet. So that's what muscle memory is. So there's a lot of information that's the feedback in the body and the mind and the mind and the body. So that it's a constant relationship. So while we're building right and left relationships, and we're building upper and lower body relationships, you're building a mind-body relationship that's really talking to itself. That's not so good, huh, in your field? But the thing is, I'm just joking, but that's what happens. So your mind and body really become in tune, and you become sensitive to all these things. But along with all of that, you're building body intelligence. You're really smarter about everything that you're doing, and I think that's what part of the goal is to get smarter about things. And on the opposite side, you know what it's like to be not so smart about things, then you struggle. You know, people that don't have such great educations in the lower level really have trouble surviving in this today's society. If you can't add and subtract and do some basic reading, you can't get through life really. So those are foundation fundamentals, and if you don't pick up on those and don't realize how important it is later on, then it becomes tough. That's what the schools are going through today. Why there's a lot of chaos in these communities. Like this, I hear a lady down, the woman in Baltimore was talking about how a lot of the kids can't do basic math or English. So, but we don't know that because we're in a different community, because we don't. So maybe if you're in the education field, you would see a lot more of that. But So anyways, we'll go through the long form. Okay, ready? Preparation. So here's your turn. We just lower hoop on the right side and we just continue around. And find your center here, and then we just go through that motion. Cross over to the other corner. Neutral grasp sparrow's tail. Turn all the way around a single whip. Second set, cloud hands to a downward posture. Third set of cloud hands to palm strikes face. Straight punch down the crotch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Downward posture. Okay, deep breathing. So learning Tai Chi and any of the martial art traditional systems, it's like an onion. It's layers and layers of peeling away, trying to get to the core. So how many people are interested, in anything that they're willing to peel layers? Very few. Depth of knowledge is not something that a lot of people really care about. It's really kind of this immediate gratification, or so that's why you get certain people that excel in what they do. Certain people become gurus because they spend decades and their whole life in the same field, but they become very smart about it. But mainly it's from their experience. So with this is the same thing. So, people would say, "Oh, these classes would be amazing. You should get so much out of it," but not everybody's interested. So for teachers that teach traditional arts, it's a struggle in many ways. Not just a struggle in doing it, but a struggle having students that want to stay with it. So it's kind of rare. It's kind of rare. It's a small percentage of the population, people. That's why there's traditional arts struggle too, just like traditional, classical music. How do you maintain that base? So as a teacher, I'm fortunate to have people like you that support me and people that are watching, but it's really still small, because my teacher went through the same thing. He said, when he got older in life, he said you can't even give it away. You can't even give it away, knowledge. Yeah. It's only meaningful to people that actually have spent the time doing it. But people that have spent time will actually gain a lot from it. So on that note, I think it's about time, 11 o'clock. Everybody's, done with the class at this point, and so we can end the class. Give us a thumbs up. You can review this if there's any content that you need to review. All the drills that we did, if